Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, Sacred Geography, and Shinrin Yoku, bringing you a grand solar minimum update. Wednesday, August 30th, around 9 p.m. Mountain Time 2023. Just about 500,000 people without power in the Southwest as Tropical Storm Idalia is now making its way off the coast of South Carolina. Keep calm. It's boom time. Tropical Storm Idalia has been downgraded as it barrels through Georgia and into the Carolinas. As of 5 p.m. ET, Idalia was around 40 miles west-southwest of Savannah, moving northeast at 25, with maximum sustained winds at around 70 miles per hour. Multiple news outlets reported that 2 men in Florida were killed in separate rain-related car crashes Wednesday morning as Idalia made landfall. Authorities said a 40-year-old man lost control of his vehicle and collided with a tree, and a 59-year-old man crashed into a tree after driving in extremely rainy conditions. So the death toll as far as the storm surge has not been revealed, as the water is receding and people need to get into those regions. Here's the position. Off the coast of Charleston, it's looking like the storm may actually rafe the coast. Let's see if we can update this. This was about an hour ago. So I don't know if it's as accurate as it could be. And maybe they've removed the data. No, there it is. There is the same position. It's just north of Savannah, maybe 50 miles, and it's going to be moving towards Myrtle Beach. And by Thursday at midnight, they're saying it's going to be off the shore of Myrtle Beach there. And that is just 4 hours from now. So it's making good time. Now, the good news is that we had over 500,000 power outages when it hit here, a new 500,000, just about 2 million people without power as it moved across here. And crews were able to get in there because the conditions were really good after the storm moved by to get in there and fix the power. So even though millions of people lost their power, the power is being restored quite rapidly, which is not typical of a system like this. There were also tens of thousands of line workers in position, thanks to Governor DeSantis, to get the power back up. So that's good news. Now, over at Oppenheimer Ranch Project at Diamond the Dave, which is our Twitter feed, now X, we have lots of the footage of what happened. Now, the biggest storm surge was in Cedar Key, and they were predicting up to 60 feet of storm surge, but the highest storm surge I saw was Cedar Key at 9.6 feet, which is still quite significant. That brings water to the second floor of homes that were built far too low. You can see here some of the devastating effects there. This is on Horseshoe Beach. Here we are at Cedar Key, where you can see the largest storm surge that was recorded, and 9.6 feet of storm surge in Cedar Key. Now, most of the houses here are very smart. Look at that. It looks like they're built 10 feet above the high tide. So all of these two homes, in fact, have been mostly spared. Most of the newer homes are built on stilts, and they weathered the storm. So good news in many of these coastal towns up in the Bend there. All right, let's look at this. This is the first look at damage in Perry, Florida, which is well inland. But it was hit by some devastating winds as well as torrential rain. And you can see here some of the damage there from poorly built homes. So Perry, Florida may be the biggest and worst hit from the entire event. Here we're back here. This is weed trimmer earlier today over at CDC. Really salacious videos, which aren't that salacious because he has so much experience in these areas that he's really not putting himself in harm's way. He's just creating viral videos to get those ducats. Yeah. And in fact, he's capitalizing on the destruction of other humans' lives for his livelihood. He's making me think more or less of weed trimmer than anyone else. Now, have you heard? This poor kid with the Gadsden flag on his backpack. Apparently nobody knows about American history and the Revolutionary War, and they think everything is white supremacy and slavery. Kudos to you, bro, with that smirk on your face. Yeah, they don't even know history, your elders. That's how pathetic the world is. Seismic update, no quakes of note. We've got normal activity worldwide. This weird rocker in the middle of nowhere here, 4.7 in the Bering Strait. Looking great. Overall, nothing significant to report on. Nothing significant in worldwide volcano news either. We've got normal activity worldwide. Nothing significant, nothing spectacular. Popo is continuing to puff and pass, as usual. Space weather news update, the sun is dead. People claim that the sun is the biggest cycle out. This is one of the top 5 weakest cycles in 250 years. And this has been our prediction for 10 years, and we're sticking with it. Some channels, like the suspicious ones that we don't like to recommend because they're full of gobbledygook and fear-mongering, they claim a 5.9 month cycle uptick in the sun, which was supposed to happen last week. And there's been no activity for 6 weeks on the sun, as far as I can tell, and it is dead. We are supposed to be at solar max and solar cycle 25, and the sun has shut down, period. Is there life hiding out in ancient caves on Mars? Well, this is their last bastion of hope. And they're hoping that if they get into some of these caves on Mars, they're going to find similar biomes to caves on Earth. The only problem is that, well, Mars is dead, has no atmosphere, minimal atmosphere, and huge amounts of cosmic radiation, winds, and very little moisture. So good luck with that. There might be microbes in the caves. There's no advanced life on Mars, regardless of what anyone thought in the 1700s with canals being mapped and civilizations and roads. That's how stupid we are. Just 300 years ago, we thought there were civilizations on Mars. Holy macaroni. And more stupidity on our own planet as we tax the bejesus out of you for a non-pollutant that's called a pollutant, which is actually plant food. Now the EPA removes federal protections for most of the country's wetlands. Well, they certainly want to protect the planet, don't they? They are mining cobalt and rare earth minerals for the quote-unquote green movement to no end, using child slavery and other unethical methods. And now the EPA removes federal protections for most of the wetlands. Yes, they don't care about you. They don't care about the Earth's health. They care about their bottom dollar. And carbon dioxide is the biggest maker of money these days, which, by the way, is not a pollutant. It's plant food. And what they won't tell you about CO2, which is plant food, is emissions are declining. If alarmists want to play their carbon dioxide is the devil game, then it has led, well, them to their demise with the data. Updated global charts reveal CO2 emissions have been flat for almost a decade and are now declining. Oh, how will they twist this narrative? Who knows? But they've certainly twisted it in the past, just a few years ago, and we now know what's going on. They're doctoring the numbers. Did you know that 99% of the recent COVID-attributed deaths do not list the virus as the cause of death? Yes, and this is just in the last week. Only a small fraction of so-called Wu flu deaths are directly attributed to the actual virus. Yes, this is propaganda. Recent data from the Centers for Disease Control, this is from the CDC directly, reveals a surprising statistic. Nearly 99% of reported COVID deaths in the last week, this is the second week of August, are not caused by COVID. This finding is based on the CDC's COVID dashboard, and it indicates that only 1.7% of the 324 COVID deaths for the second week of August had the coronavirus as the primary cause of death. Yeah, you know what that means? Propaganda. They're lying to you, and these mandates that they're trying to push are garbage. Can you imagine that they mandate that the whole world masks because 2 people died last week from COVID? I can. We are in a dystopian world with a bunch of charlatans running the show. You know who's not a charlatan? Tucker Carlson. Please check his new podcast out, because in just a few months, he has garnered more views than the entire Fox News network has garnered in years. And according to this article from Newsweek, Fox News gets a boost after Tucker Carlson exits. This is a complete fabricated lie. What it means is that after he exited, their views dropped to nothing, the lowest ratings in a decade. And now they're recovering. This is the same scam that mainstream media uses to claim that we're burning up. They pick a point where the lowest temperature occurs, they move it forward, and they say, oh, everything is going up. And that is called cherry picking. Now, what's not cherry picking? Tucker Carlson's ratings since he left Fox. He has hundreds of millions of views in just a few months, which is 10 times more than his views in any year on Fox News. And that is a boom to knowledge. Please share this video as we are shadow banned. And the more we reveal to the masses, the more the mainstream wants to constrict our necks. Please share this as it's free and it helps us grow. Also, consider becoming a Patreon. Support the work we do for just as little as $1 a month and watch all of our productions in one place, commercial free. You don't have to look around because we're shadow banned to see where we're publishing or not, even though we publish every single day. And don't forget, the Crestone Energy Fair is coming up in just a few weeks, in the 2.5 weeks into September, right in mid-September, a September to remember. And that is a boom. We love you. Be safe.